Mixed results. Really appreciated the time that you and I both had with CEO Enrique Lores. And I'm going to do kind of a highlights, lowlights, and what they talked about the future. So here are some of the highlights. First time back to revenue growth in 9 quarters. That is a big deal, and it was on the back of PC growth. It was up 5% year on year, and 6% on commercial units, 8% on revenue. What was interesting, kind of with the Dell decline, like most of Dell's business. By the way, commercial was flat at Dell, and here we have HP, who did really, really well. Consumer printing was up 2%. Print supplies as expected. EPS within guide, and this is not really a surprise, but they do have a fab for some of their printer chips. They got $50 million through the CHIPS Act. Surprise! Here's some of the lowlights. A lot of highlights, but there's some lowlights. Printer margins and revenue. It looked like tough China results, aggressive price environment there. Consumer PC declines, right? We saw Dell at 22%. They were off 6%. Their revenue, interestingly enough, was only off by 1%. And I can attribute that. I don't have all the data for it, but could that be the AI PC sell-in? Possibly. Commercial printing was the toughest there at off 5%. And well, EPS, they hit expectations. It was below, sorry, EPS was well within the guide. It was below the EPS expectations. There's potential that investors thought that printing would do better than it did. But hey, stocks are about the future, not about how they did. They do expect fourth quarter print improvements with cost cuts, even revenue strength. They do expect meaningful AI PC sales growth in the back half, kind of just like what I said. Right now, over a 10% revenue mix in the second half and 50% mix in 2027. A lot faster growth in consumer. Again, that 50% in 2027, let's not forget that that's a split between desktop and notebook, and we don't really know precisely what AMD and Intel are going to do in desktop and AI, and right now the definition of an AI PC doesn't really factor in any, let's say, NVIDIA GPU. Like Dell, they're expecting to see commercial demand swell with the Win 10 to Win 11 adoption based off Microsoft cutting off non-free support in October of 2025. You can still spend $60 per head if you want to milk that, but I don't see enterprises doing that because they had a big swell during the pandemic in enterprises of buying all new PCs. Those were Win 10, and those are getting old. Done.
Yeah, I think you covered it. I don't think there's really much I have to add there. I put out a tweet. You can check it out on this topic. I fortunately have to run to a meeting here at the top of the hour, Pat. I will say that my comments in the Dell about CSG, about the overall cycle, is probably my strongest reflection of the opportunity. I think these mixed silicon offerings, these sort of mixed platform differentiation, the consumer commercial, approach differentiation that's going to be focal point going forward, getting a commercial to buy in a big way. Pat, I'm really, my heart and head really says mid 25. I know this isn't like going to be the happiest news, but again, having been out and about, done some shopping myself, started to use these things, I'm super excited about it. I'm super excited about it. I really think we're going to see this thing kind of ease in. And I like to say, Pat, slow it first, then all at once. And I think it's going to be that way.